Chosen one, pause. Before your mind tries to make sense of why you're here, feel this moment instead. Feel the stillness that wrapped around you when this title appeared. This wasn't curiosity, it was recognition. You didn't stumble into this message. Heaven positioned you here, quietly, intentionally, because something almost happened, and you were pulled back just in time. There are moments when life feels like rejection, when doors slam so suddenly it steals your breath. But chosen one, what if it wasn't a no? What if it was an emergency extraction? What if the same hand you thought closed the door was actually the hand that grabbed you at the edge? And chosen one, before we go deeper, pause for a moment, hit subscribe, and comment "I receive" if your spirit is already responding. Because this message is about to speak directly to you. You've been replaying it in your mind, haven't you? That sudden shift, that interruption that didn't give you time to prepare. One moment you were moving forward, the next, everything stopped. Confusion followed, silence followed, and in that quiet, doubt tried to explain what heaven never intended you to misunderstand. You asked, did I miss it? Did I fail? Was I not chosen after all? But listen closely, chosen one. Rejection wasn't the message, rescue was. You weren't pushed out, you were pulled away. Pulled back at the last second because what you couldn't see was already moving toward you. Some endings feel harsh because they're urgent. Some delays feel violent because the danger was close. Heaven doesn't always explain itself when time is critical. You survive things you never saw coming. Traps disguised as opportunities. Connections that looked aligned but carried hidden consequences. Paths that seemed right but would have cost you your peace, your purpose, even your identity. And when you were too tired, too hopeful, or too trusting to stop yourself, God intervened. This is the revelation. The speed of the interruption was proof of the protection. The confusion was temporary, but the rescue was permanent. You are still chosen, still watched, still covered. And now, as this message unfolds, a hidden truth is about to surface. One that will finally explain why heaven stepped in when it did. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear was never meant for everyone. It was timed for you. Chosen one, there are moments when life doesn't slow you down gently. It stops you, abruptly, without explanation. And in that moment, your first thought is often, why was I denied? But listen carefully. Being stopped is not the same as being rejected. Sometimes God doesn't push you away from something. He pulls you back because you were getting too close to what was never meant to harm you, but could have. Think about it. Rejection feels like dismissal. Rescue feels confusing at first, but later reveals peace. When God pulls you back, it's not because you weren't worthy. It's because you were too valuable, too important to let you walk into something that would drain you, delay you, or damage the calling resting quietly on your life. Chosen one, have you noticed that even in the pain of the stopping, there was a strange sense of relief beneath it? That wasn't coincidence. That was coverage. There is a subtle difference between being blocked and being covered. A block feels like resistance. Coverage feels like protection you didn't ask for, but desperately needed. When heaven blocks, it's loud and obvious. But when heaven covers, it's quiet, gentle, almost invisible. Divine hands don't always shove you out of danger. Sometimes they simply redirect your steps when you're not looking. Have you ever wondered why things fell apart without chaos? Why some endings didn't explode but simply dissolved? That's how God guides the chosen one. Not with force, but with precision. Not with punishment, but with timing. Rescue rarely comes with warning, because if it did, fear would interfere. You would hesitate. You would question. You might even resist the very protection sent to save you. So God moves swiftly, silently, lovingly, and only later does understanding catch up with obedience. Chosen one, this is important. Rescue doesn't always feel kind in the moment. It feels sudden, disorienting, like the ground shifted without permission. But ask yourself this, what if God acted quickly because time mattered? What if delay would have cost you more than disappointment? Some things must end fast because the threat is closer than you realize. And here is the truth many don't talk about. God removed you because you were valued enough to be preserved. He didn't wait for you to break. He didn't wait for proof of harm. He acted on foresight, not evidence. That's love operating beyond human logic. That's divine protection stepping in before damage becomes visible. So chosen one, instead of asking, why did this stop? Ask something deeper. What was I being saved from? And even more gently, can I trust a God who pulls me back, even when I don't yet understand why? Stay with that question, because when you begin to see stoppages not as denial, but as divine care, everything about your past and your future starts to make sense. Chosen one. Some moments in life don't arrive gently. They don't knock, they interrupt. And when they do, it can feel shocking, even unsettling, as if heaven moved before your heart had time to catch up. But listen closely. God never interrupts to harm you. He intervenes because your emotions, though real and sacred, are not always ready for the urgency of protection. There are times when heaven sees what you cannot yet feel. While you are still processing hope, attachment, or anticipation, God is already aware of what is forming beneath the surface. That is why some divine interventions come early, fast, and without emotional preparation. Not because your feelings don't matter, but because waiting for emotional readiness would have cost you something far greater. Have you ever wondered why God didn't give you more time to adjust? Why the ending came before you were ready to let go? Here's the tenderness hidden inside what felt sudden. Urgency is not anger. Speed is not punishment. Swift movement is often the clearest sign of care. When a child runs toward danger, a loving parent doesn't pause to explain. They pull them back immediately. Only later does the explanation come. In the same way, when love sees risk approaching, it moves first and explains later. Chosen one, what if the speed of that interruption was proof of how deeply you were loved? Sometimes love moves faster than language, faster than reassurance, faster than emotional closure. God knows that if He explained everything in the moment, fear would cloud your discernment, doubt would argue, attachment would negotiate. So instead, He acts, quietly, decisively. And only after the dust settles does understanding begin to unfold. Have you noticed how clarity often arrives long after the interruption has already protected you? What you experienced was not chaos, it was precision. Protection wrapped in speed often feels rough at first because it bypasses comfort. But comfort is not the highest form of love. Preservation is. God wasn't rushing you out of impatience, He was rushing you out of harm's reach. Some situations don't need prolonged goodbyes. Some paths don't need one more step forward. They need a sudden stop because what lies ahead cannot be softened. Chosen one, interruption does not mean abandonment. It means attentiveness. It means heaven was close enough to notice and loving enough to act. And even if your heart needed time to catch up, your spirit already knew something important had shifted in your favor. So ask yourself gently, can you trust a God who moves quickly when it matters most? Can you believe that what felt abrupt was actually mercy arriving early? Because when you begin to see divine interruption not as loss, but as love moving at the speed of protection, the past stops hurting and starts making sense. Chosen one, have you ever felt the quiet sting of a door closing without warning? That sudden, unexplainable no more that left your heart racing, your mind searching for answers, and your spirit questioning your worth? What if I told you that those abrupt endings, those unspoken closures, were never rejections? They were acts of divine mercy, a gentle intervention from heaven itself? There is a tender reason why God sometimes stops things before you even realize the danger or the misalignment. He knows what your heart cannot yet see. He sees the hidden consequences, the threads of pain or distraction that could have ensnared you. And with a subtle hand, He pulls you away, swiftly, silently, but with infinite care. These sudden endings are not meant to punish you, chosen one. They are meant to shield you. Often we seek explanations, yearning for conversation, for clarity, for someone to tell us why it had to end. And yet there is a sacred wisdom in silence. When God says enough, He is setting divine boundaries you were not ready to set for yourself. The situation, the relationship, the opportunity, it may have seemed promising, but it carried seeds of hidden harm. Can you trust that something greater than your understanding was at work in that moment? That the abruptness was not cruelty, but protection? When a chapter closes suddenly, feel the invisible hand guiding you. Sense that what appears as loss is actually divine correction, a repositioning toward what is aligned with your purpose. Have you noticed how sometimes, after a painful ending, a new door opens almost immediately? One you didn't see before? One you were not ready to step through until you were safely released from the last? Heaven works this way, with precision, with timing that surpasses human comprehension, with a love that prioritizes your safety and growth over your temporary comfort. And chosen one, ask yourself, how often have you misread mercy as misfortune? How often have you grieved a sudden closure only to realize later that it saved you from something far more harmful than you imagined? These no more moments are not accidental. They are heavenly pauses, divine edits to your story, corrections that ensure your journey remains sacred and unbroken. When God intervenes this way, He does not need your understanding, because His wisdom surpasses all earthly explanations. Your role is to trust, to surrender, and to hold your heart open to the unfolding of a greater narrative. So in the quiet spaces after a sudden ending, chosen one, listen closely. Feel the gentle rhythm of divine timing. Reflect on the invisible boundary that was placed, the mercy that was wrapped in abruptness, and the protection that you didn't even know you needed. Heaven moves in ways that human hearts cannot always follow immediately, but in the fullness of time, the meaning becomes clear. Each sudden, no more, a deliberate act of love, a shield and a signal that something greater is preparing to enter your life. Are you ready to see these moments not as loss, but as alignment? Are you prepared to embrace the silent guidance, the unseen protection, and the divine boundaries that shape your path? Because chosen one, these abrupt endings are not the story's end. They are the turning points that guide you closer to your destiny. And the truth is about to reveal itself in ways that will leave your heart both humbled and illuminated, ready to step into what heaven has carefully prepared for you. Chosen one, have you ever been caught in the whirlwind of a sudden ending and felt your heart lagging behind heaven's plan? That moment when everything shifts without warning, and your spirit says yes, but your emotions are screaming no. This is the quiet struggle of divine redirection, a shock to the soul that feels raw, disorienting, and yet profoundly necessary. Heaven moved with precision, with timing that you could not anticipate, pulling you away from what was never meant to last. And your heart, tender and human, simply needed a moment to catch up. Have you allowed yourself to notice that pause, that gap between understanding and feeling, as part of the sacred process? When a door closes abruptly, even for protection, it is natural to feel loss. You may grieve something that wasn't meant to stay, yet your emotions mourn its absence, as if it were permanent. Chosen one, know this. Feeling sadness or confusion does not mean you have lost faith. It does not mean heaven's wisdom has failed. Your feelings are simply a testimony to your humanity, a sacred space where your heart processes the redirection that your mind might have already accepted. Have you been gentle with yourself, allowing your emotions to breathe instead of resisting them? Confusion often comes as a companion to clarity. While your spirit understands that the interruption was divine, your heart may still question, still ache, still long for explanations that will never fully arrive. And that is okay. Chosen one, this is where grace meets growth. Allow yourself to sit in the discomfort without trying to rewrite the story, without reopening the door to what has been closed. Can you feel the power in letting your emotions move through you, rather than against you like waves on a sacred shore, carrying away what no longer serves you? Give yourself permission to grieve, to feel, to release, but do so with the quiet confidence that heaven's hand is steady. Each surge of emotion, each pang of longing is not a setback. It is part of the unfolding rhythm of divine timing. By honoring your emotional process without clinging to what was, you create space for the new, for the blessings and opportunities that were waiting just beyond the closure. Chosen one, your heart is learning to synchronize with heaven's pulse, to recognize that protection often arrives in a package that feels sudden, and that grace is the gentle bridge between what was and what will be. Ask yourself now, can you trust the unseen hand even when your feelings resist it? Can you release the need to understand fully and instead embrace the rhythm of divine orchestration? The truth is, your emotional shock is not a sign of weakness. It is proof that you are alive, that you feel deeply, and that you are being guided toward what is sacred and aligned with your destiny. Chosen one, in the wake of divine redirection, allow your heart to heal gently, to follow the subtle currents of protection, and to rise with the confidence that what heaven closes, it closes in love, and what it opens next will surpass your imagination. Chosen one, have you ever wondered why certain doors close without a single reason? Why opportunities vanish without warning? And why some people or paths are quietly removed from your life? It can leave your heart restless, your mind searching for answers that never come. But know this, sometimes heaven withholds the truth not out of secrecy, but out of love. The wisdom of God is not always found in explanation. It is often found in protection. The hand that shields you from harm doesn't always need to show you the danger. And in that hiddenness, there is grace, there is mercy, and there is divine care beyond your comprehension. Think for a moment, chosen one. Have you ever been spared from a situation that, in hindsight, could have caused heartbreak, loss, or even spiritual derailment? Yet at the moment, you only felt confusion, disappointment, or emptiness. That is the paradox of divine protection. The absence of explanation is not neglect. It is love in its most subtle, yet powerful form. When God removes something from your life, it is not because you are unworthy, but because the timing, the circumstance, or the unseen threat required intervention before you even knew it existed. Can you trust that the silence itself is a language of care, a whisper from heaven saying, I see the danger you cannot yet see, and I will not let it touch you? There is a sacred beauty in learning to trust what is removed, even without evidence. To surrender to God's wisdom when your mind wants to understand, when your heart wants clarity, is to step into a higher realm of faith. Sometimes knowing too much too soon can wound the soul, can entangle you in what should remain hidden. God's timing, His withholding, and His redirection are a protective veil, a shield around your life that preserves the sanctity of your heart and the trajectory of your purpose. Chosen one, ask yourself, how often have you been spared silently without realizing the magnitude of what was kept away from you? Peace, not answers, is often the confirmation. When you release the need to understand fully, when you surrender the longing for justification, you create space for divine alignment. Feel it in your chest, that gentle calm, that subtle assurance that what was taken away was never truly yours to carry, and what is coming is orchestrated to match the rhythm of your destiny. Trust becomes not just a practice, but a lived experience, a rhythm between your heart and heaven's pulse. Chosen one, let this sink in. The unseen protection, the removed opportunities, the mysteries withheld, all of these are proof that you are being guided, that you are being preserved, and that your journey is sacred. Heaven is meticulous, precise, and tender in its interventions. When explanations are absent, let your faith rise. When the reasons are hidden, let your trust deepen. And as you walk forward, accept the peace as the quiet confirmation that God's hand is always over you, even when you cannot see it, always moving to shield you, to lift you, and to position you exactly where you are meant to be. Chosen one, have you ever felt the sting of a door closing so suddenly that your heart didn't have time to adjust? That moment when everything seems rushed, abrupt, and unfair, and your mind can't keep pace with heaven's timing? These swift endings are not random. They are divine interventions, precise and urgent, because your life, your purpose, your spiritual path, it matters far more than you realize. Heaven moves quickly when the stakes are high, when the alignment is critical, and when lingering in the wrong place could cost you more than you can bear. Have you considered that the very speed that startled you was an act of protection, a tender but urgent pull toward what is meant for you? Learning to rest in these fast closures begins with releasing the endless questions. Why did it end so soon? Why didn't I see it coming? Why now? Chosen one, the answers you seek are often beyond human comprehension. And the truth is this: God already sealed what was to end, and lingering in doubt only disrupts the flow of divine orchestration. When a chapter closes abruptly, it is not because you were abandoned or overlooked. It is because heaven is guiding you to the next chapter faster than your heart expected. And slowing it down would have delayed your destiny. Can you feel the freedom in surrendering the need to understand fully and instead resting in the certainty that God's timing is perfect? There is safety in divine finality. When a door closes swiftly, it is not a punishment, it is a shield. It is protection wrapped in urgency, a way of saying, you are not ready for what is beyond this, and I will not allow harm to touch you. Chosen one, how often have you clung to closed doors, revisited past chapters, or tried to rewrite endings that heaven had already completed? Every time you resist closure, you delay the arrival of what is next. The more you accept swift endings with trust, the more you align yourself with the rhythm of divine timing, a timing that sees the entirety of your journey, not just the fragments you perceive. Trusting fast closures also means walking forward without hesitation, even when it feels rushed, even when your heart lingers in the space of loss. Know that heaven's speed is a sign of significance. You're being moved towards something sacred, something aligned, something that matters profoundly for your growth, your purpose, and your destiny. Have you ever paused to feel the relief in knowing that what left your life was never truly yours to hold, and that heaven has a plan far greater than you could have imagined? Chosen one, embrace the peace that comes from accepting the swift, the sudden, and the final. Releasing the urge to question, to revisit, or to resist allows your spirit to step fully into the path heaven has prepared for you. Trust that the speed of closure is a signal, a divine nudge toward what is meant for you, and a protective measure that shields you from what you cannot yet see. Let your heart relax into this rhythm. Let your soul rest in the certainty that heaven's quick movement is not haste, but precision, and walk forward knowing this truth. You were never too slow, you were never overlooked, and you were always being guided toward exactly where you need to be.